Something I noticed throughout my entire life, and this is probably something you can relate to on some level, and it's that there's always going to be someone that criticizes you for being confident, but never anybody that criticizes you for being too insecure. And that's mainly because of two things. Number one, because self-belief makes people uncomfortable. And number two, in some way, to those people, insecurity is relatable. Now, we go through ebbs and flows, right? There's going to be a point in your life where you feel very confident. Your life is going pretty well, right? You're in a flow state. Work is going well, your social life is going well, your romantic life is going well, and you're going to feel like you're that guy. But the opposite is also true, where there's going to be times in your life where you feel a bit more insecure, where things aren't going so well. And again, human beings aren't perfect, right? So there's going to be times where you're a bit overconfident or where you're a bit too insecure. And both the person that's overconfident and too insecure share one thing in common, and it's that they both inevitably will be wrong. The one that's overconfident, or the version of yourself that's overconfident, is going to overshoot or overestimate your abilities at some point in time. And the one that's too insecure is going to severely underestimate your abilities. And both situations will eventually lead you to failure in some way, shape, or form. But each and every single time, I would much rather be the one that's overconfident than the one that's too insecure. Because the main difference, right, and I really want to emphasize this point, especially to younger guys watching this or anyone that needs a boost in confidence. But the main difference between the one that's overconfident and the one that's too insecure is that the one that's overconfident is going to try each and every single time. And the one that's too insecure is almost never going to try. That's the main difference. Like, overconfidence eventually is going to rub some people the wrong way, but insecurity keeps you invisible forever. And the world can't reward what it doesn't see. And I'm not saying that confidence guarantees success, but confidence opens up doors that insecurity never could. And life is absolutely unforgiving to a guy that's too insecure, to a guy that doesn't try. Like, the guy that's overconfident is going to approach every attractive girl that he sees. He's going to get rejected, it's inevitable. But at least he's going to try. The guy that's too insecure is almost never going to go up to her. And that's essentially why being overconfident is always going to be better than being too insecure. And it's like, bro, I can't stress how important this is, because so many people will chastise and criticize someone for being confident. Because confidence to people who are insecure is always going to come off as overconfidence. And again, I'm not saying that there aren't going to be times where you are overconfident. Like I said, eventually you will be. Human beings aren't perfect, but you can't waste your time walking around afraid that being overconfident is going to rub some people the wrong way. It's like when you're on your deathbed, right? Are you going to be saying to yourself, you know what, maybe I never had the confidence to go for my dreams or go for that job or go for that girl or fully believe in myself, but at least that one person who's insecure, who I wasn't even close to, at least they never saw me as arrogant or cocky. It's like, what? Especially people that are just projecting their insecurity, because there's a lot of people on that side. Like, there's way more people who never tried in life versus those that do. Most people play it safe in life. And this could even be friends, family, peers, teachers, people who are supposed to be an authority figure in your life. People who are supposed to uplift you. I promise you, do not listen to those people who never tried. The world is going to reward confidence, even if it's overconfidence at certain times, because it shows drive, it shows determination, it shows willingness, and at the very least, it shows a lack of cowardice. For example, right, if you walk into an interview and go, I'm the best guy you can hire, no one is going to work harder than me, anything you say I'm going to do and learn faster than anyone else you can hire. There's no one better than the job you can hire than me. You are 1,000 times more likely going to get that job than the guy that's like, I don't know if I can do that, I'm not that qualified, that's not my expertise, etc. As a matter of fact, the only time that you're going to grow in life is if you do things that you're not ready for but do anyways. And if you really think about it, that's always going to take a certain level of delusion or overconfidence. Like, having that confidence, even if it's overconfidence, is not only so much better, but it's almost necessary to take that leap of faith in life. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure every successful person or every motivational speech or every success story you heard, they always mention that one aspect where you need a certain level of delusion, or you need to be crazy to a certain degree in order to separate yourself from most people who don't try. Like, you have to have that self-belief, that belief that you can do it even before you start. And by definition, that is a bit delusional, that is a bit overconfidence, because you believe something before you can do it, but it's absolutely necessary. The same people that will criticize you for confidence are the people that love being around people that are more insecure than them. It makes them feel more comfortable because for the first time in their life, they feel like they're in a position where they're the confident one. And they only feel that way when they're around people who are more insecure. The sad thing about it is that a lot of people love putting someone else down because it makes them feel better. And it's because they feel threatened by the person that's confident, but they don't feel threatened by someone who's insecure. And again, it's why confidence will always elicit a negative response from certain people. And also why you will never be criticized for being too insecure, because you're making people feel more comfortable. And you have to take note of people like this in your life because that feeling is infectious. and it can definitely affect the way you move if you're not careful. You know, I had a friend in the past where we would hang out in a group setting a lot, where there was 3 of us guys and 3 girls. And I would kind of be the one to set it up each time I would drive. I would pick everyone up, I would pick the dinner spot. And I remember this one time where we were getting dinner and catching a movie, and I was basically carrying the conversation, making jokes, and the girls were laughing. And because he liked one of the girls, it would always make him feel some type of way. Like, he would always text me, like, even mid-conversation one time, like, "Oh, so you're a comedian now?" Like, he would send me that one meme where it was like, "Oh, that one friend that turns into a comedian when the girls are around." Like, literally mid-conversation, mid-hangout. And I'll just be like, "All right, so what do you want me to do? Like, just sit here and let you carry the conversation with your negative energy?" And the reason why I'm making this video isn't to rag on people that might be insecure. Quite the opposite, actually. Like, we can all be insecure at some times. I'm saying this because I care. I know what it's like to be afraid to be confident or show gumption, because it's always been, met with negativity or weird energy or been shot down. A lot of people are going to try to discourage you or bring you down when you show that confidence. I'm trying to uplift you, because sometimes this can be people close to you. Just try to remember, never sacrifice your confidence, or even lower yourself for that matter, to make people feel comfortable, to fit in. Because that should be telling as it pertains to the people that you're around if you feel the need to do that. And I get it, right? A part of it is that some people feel safer fitting in than thriving alone. People don't want to feel isolated, but it's something you got to get over. Like, being humble is a good thing, right? But people praise modesty way too much, to the point where people shrink themselves or dim their light to be likable. And I promise you, this mentality gets you nowhere in life. You got to give yourself the opportunity to shine, even if it rubs some people the wrong way. Realize that they're going to criticize you anyways. You're going to be judged in some way, shape, or form. And if it ends up triggering insecurities in certain people, then so be it. If they think that you're cocky or arrogant, then make that sacrifice, because what's really going to matter at the end of the day? Do not be afraid of being confident because you're afraid of coming off as arrogant or overconfident. Because it's always going to be better than being insecure or playing yourself down. Like, you always got to think about what course of action right now, what mindset brings you closer to the purpose or goals you have in life. You're never going to be perfect in everyone's eyes, so you got to do what's best for you. Choose confidence every single time. Because confidence is what's going to make you show up. Confidence will get you noticed in rooms you want to be in, or that girl that you're attracted to. It's going to be the catalyst that creates that momentum in your life. The one thing that's always going to be true is that blessings and opportunities are always going to favor the courageous. It's always going to favor the brave, and your learning curve is significantly higher than the person that's too insecure. Because you're constantly taking action, even in situations where you might overestimate your abilities. Like, you're going to have more data points, more experience to work with, because you actually learn by doing things, by taking action. And you can only do that when you're confident enough to put yourself in situations to fail. And that's another thing, right? People who are too insecure are afraid to fail versus those that are overconfident. It's like, yeah, okay, maybe I overestimated my abilities. Maybe I couldn't lift that weight. Maybe I couldn't spar that guy who has that much experience. But at least now I know where I'm at. Now I know where I can work from. As opposed to being too insecure, where you're never going to realize your potential. You're never going to try. You're just staying in place in life, paralyzed by fear. If the cost of success and being the best version of yourself is some people thinking that you're overconfident, then respectfully, who gives a shit? That's a small price to pay for a life of fulfillment, if you ask me. You don't exist to make insecurity feel comfortable. You only got one shot. Let your light shine. Anyways, hope you guys got something from that. Bit of motivation, bit of inspiration. And with that said, make sure you stay true. Talk to you guys real soon, and I'll see you at the top. Peace.